Hi guys, this is Liz Caneda from Sleeklens. Today I have a short tutorial from the Strike a Pose workflow. So this tutorial is all about eyes, and I'm going to show you how you can use the brushes in the Strike a Pose workflow to add color, contrast, and light to the eyes in your portrait, so it really makes your subject pop. So here I have a photograph already opened, and I already have some presets that I applied to it from the Strike a Pose workflow, but now I'm really going to work with the brushes to enhance her eyes here. So there are several brushes that come with the Strike a Pose workflow made just for eyes. So the first one I'm going to use right now is I'm going to go to the Strike a Pose face, and I'm going to go for enhanced brown eyes because she has brown eyes. And what this is going to do is basically you would use this brush around the irises of her eyes. So it's going to enhance the color and the clarity, and I'm actually going to, as I mentioned before, you can use the brushes as they are, or you can use the sliders after you've applied the brush to change them. So I'm going to up the exposure a little bit just so I can add a little bit of light to her eyes. And then I'm going to use this brush one more time, so I'm going to hit New. So I'm using the same enhanced brown eyes, but this time I'm going to add color to it. So I'm going to go down to the Colors tab, and I'm going to go up here into kind of this orangey zone. And then I'm going to turn the exposure down a lot. And I'm just going to use it right in here, and it's going to add kind of more of a brown color. I'm going to hit New one more time. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to use the Strike a Pose Whiten Eyes brush. And for this brush, what you're going to do is you're going to use it all in the whites of the eyes just to kind of whiten them. Sometimes what can happen is if you apply a preset to your photograph, if it has kind of an orange tint to it or yellow tint, you'll get that tint or color reflected in the whites of the eyes. So you would use this brush just to kind of change that. And I also like to use the exposure slider on here to kind of brighten the whites of the eyes as well. And you can make your brush real small to try and get these little tiny spaces down in here. Alright, so some other brushes that come with this workflow that are also great for everything besides just the eyes are the light darken and the light brighten brushes. So what I like to do is I like to go to the light brighten, and sorry, you have to hit New in between. So you hit New, I go to the light brighten, and I like to just take the light brighten brush and I just kind of make it a little bit bigger, and I like to just bring a little bit of light to the iris. That just helps the color pop. And another thing I like to do is go to the light darken brush. And I make the brush real small, and if I just run that darken brush around the iris here, it just really makes it stand out from the whites of the eyes. And then occasionally what I do is I'll take this brush and this darken brush and I'll run it along the eyelash line here. Just to darken the eyelashes, makes the eye pop out. Alright, so that's what I've done here. So here's the before and the after. So we've added color, light, and a little bit of contrast to the eyes. So here's the before and the after. and it just really makes her eyes pop out of the photograph. So I'm going to move on to another photograph. I have this one right here. I've applied some presets to this one as well. It has some matte presets attached to it. Alright, so I'm going to do some of the same things that I did to the last one. Scroll down to my strike oppose brushes. I'm going to use the whiten eyes. And I'm using that just right in the creases here. And I'm just going to turn the exposure up a little bit. So as I mentioned before, when we had the enhanced brown eyes, there is also an enhanced green eyes brush that comes with this. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And I'm going to run that in the iris of her eyes. So that's going to add a little bit of light. And there is a slight color to it. If you want to make them a little bit more green, stand out a little bit more, you can kind of go up here in this yellow-green range and turn the exposure down a little bit because you don't want this bright lime green color. And just run that right in here. Another brush that comes with this workflow is a brush for under the eyes. So it says fix under eye circles. And you just run that over here. And what this is going to do is just kind of lighten the darker circles down here. So here's the before and the after. So we've just kind of whitened the whites of her eyes, added a little bit more of a green color, and just softened the circles under her eyes. Alright, I'm going to move on to a third photograph. So the first thing I'm going to do again is use the whiten eyes. And I'm going to turn the exposure up on that just a little bit. This little girl kind of has a mix between a green and bluish eyes depending on the way the light hits it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use the enhanced blue eyes brush. So there is an enhanced blue eyes and then enhanced blue eyes 2. I'm going to use the enhanced blue eyes 2. And as you can see, it sets a kind of blue color down here, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pump the color up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and use that in the irises of her eyes. Again, I'm going to turn the exposure up. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new brush. And this time I'm just going to use the Strike Oppose Light Brighten brush. And I'm just going to do an overall sweeping motion across her eye, just to add a little bit of light all over. And then I'm going to hit new. And I'm going to use the light darken, and again I'm going to make my brush really small, and I'm just going to use this right around the edge of the iris here. It just kind of adds some definition. Right, so here's the before and the after. So you're not making drastic changes to the eyes, but it does make a difference in the photograph, and it makes them really kind of pop out and come to life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and you'll be able to try it for yourself soon.